Penny Parker is definitely one of the most endearing characters in the entire Spider-Verse franchise. Even though she only appears briefly in the films, her personality leaves a lasting impression.
My name is Penny Parker.
She's always happy, cheerful, and full of energy, but if you watch her again in Across the Spider-Verse, you'll notice how different she seems. She's much more subdued and even depressed, and she looks completely changed from the lively girl we first met. So in this video, let's talk about her story up until the moment she became that way. She lives in a very futuristic world, one where advanced technology and robotics are part of everyday life. Her story begins when she was just 9 years old. At that time, something tragic happened to her father. He died while piloting the spider suit, which is the robot that is always on her side in the first film. The suit is not just a machine, it requires a very specific genetic match and a symbiotic relationship with the radioactive spider that acts as the suit's central CPU and bridge between human and mech. Because of this special connection, Penny was the only one who could take over the spider suit after her father's death. So, to keep his legacy alive and to continue using the suit, she allowed the spider to bite her. That bite gave her a psychic connection with the spider and the mech, allowing her to pilot the robot fluently and intuitively. The spider suit means a lot to her, not just because it's a powerful weapon or tool, but because it represents the only physical thing she has left of her father. He was the one who invented it, and he was also the one who died inside it. That makes the suit a constant reminder of both his genius and his sacrifice. When we first see Penny in Into the Spider-Verse, she is really happy and joyful. Her energy is infectious and she brings a sense of lighthearted optimism to the story. That's exactly who she is at that point in her life, a bright hopeful girl who still sees the spider suit as a symbol of her father's love and creativity, not just as a painful reminder of his death. She's also crucial to the main plot because she is the one who fixes the override key to stop the super collider. However, during the climax of the film, Penny goes through another heartbreak. Her spider suit is severed, damaged, and essentially destroyed. That destruction hits her especially hard because the suit was the last remaining thing she had from her father. It represented his work, his dreams, and the bond they once shared. Even though she manages to save the radioactive spider and preserve the connection, it's still heartbreaking for her to lose something that meant so much to her. After everything ends, she goes back to her own universe. That's the last time we see her with that warm, cheerful expression. When she went back to her own universe, at first it seemed like she was living a relatively normal life. She returned to the world she knew, carrying the memory of her father, the spider suit, and the connections she had formed. But that fragile sense of normalcy was shattered by one big tragic event. In rapid succession, she lost both her best friend Addie and her beloved Aunt May. That double loss became the defining trauma of her life. In her universe, Aunt May was far more than just a guardian. She was a brilliant scientist who played a vital role in maintaining and improving the spider suit. She understood the technology, the risks, and the emotional weight behind it, and she stood by Penny as both a mentor and a mother figure. On the other side, Penny's best friend Addie was piloting a different experimental robot, one that was still in the early stages of testing. Something went wrong, and the machine spiraled out of control, putting Addie in immediate danger. Aunt May rushed to try to fix the malfunctioning robot in order to save her, but the machine reacted so violently that it essentially consumed both her and Addie, merging them into the suit's systems in a way that left no chance for rescue. Penny was left standing there, helpless, unable to save either of them. That was her canon event, something that fundamentally reshaped her personality and worldview. Although her Uncle Ben was still alive, he wasn't as supportive as her Aunt May and her best friend Addie, so she felt completely alone. This is the key reason why she is so visibly depressed when we see her again in Across the Spider-Verse, because by that point, she has lost her entire emotional support system, her father, her Aunt May, and her closest friend. She's left alone with the weight of her responsibilities and the memories of everyone she cared about. She ends up agreeing with Miguel's concept of canon events, tragic events that you should just accept and let it play out without interfering. You can also see her psychological state reflected in her new robot design. The cute, sleek, almost playful mecha from her first appearance is replaced with a much larger, darker, and more industrial-looking machine. The new robot looks heavier, more mechanical, and less like a partner and more like a burden. It visually mirrors how Penny now sees her life, not as a fun adventure, but as a heavy responsibility she must carry on her own. Her expressions are more subdued, her energy is dimmed, and the cheerful girl we met in the first film seems buried underneath guilt and grief. The last time we see Penny in Across the Spider-Verse is as part of Gwen's team to rescue Miles. In that moment, she begins to redeem herself and slowly steps away from blindly following Miguel's rules. By choosing to help Gwen and Miles, she's rejecting the idea that she should simply accept every loss as canon and instead reclaims some agency in shaping her own path. It's a quiet but powerful turning point. Penny is no longer only defined by what she's lost, but by what she's willing to fight for again.